What's going on, guys? Hope everybody's having a great day. Please do me a favor, smash that like button, and if you get anything from this video, subscribe. We've had some information come out in the Idaho Four case. Now, I've got to be the first one to tell you that I've gotten bored with this case lately. It's just been random opinions and unverified sources and just conspiracy theories, and then it just nothing has really gave me interest in this case lately. I mean, think about it. It's been a long time. We never even had the preliminary hearing. We never got the full story of what the police even believe happened exactly. But we have a suspect, and we have bits and pieces of evidence from affidavits and reports and things like that have come out. And then we have all these unverified sources giving out information that some of it seems like it's probably true, some of it seems like it's made up, some of it seems like it's already been debunked. Like, it's been hard to want to stick with this case. When the trial starts, that's a whole nother situation. But I believe that this is going to be one of the last videos that I make on the Idaho 4 up and until the time that information comes out that really matters, or a breakthrough in the case, something Bryan Kohbergers pleads guilty, or a witness comes out and starts speaking, or the family says something that gives a reason to believe that Bryan Kohbergers is guilty or innocent or whatever, right? Well, what we have right now is the interview with Kaylees Goncalves' father, Steve Goncalves, where he sounds reasonable and level-headed. He understands that Bryan Kohbergers is not yet guilty of this crime, but he is the suspect, and he wants to make sure that Bryan Kohbergers is the correct and only person involved in this crime. And then if he is, he said he was going to be on him like pit bulls.
I'm going to stick to the message that this family will do everything in its power to make sure that if everything rolls out and we know for a fact with the evidence that this is the person, then he's got pit bulls after him. So we're going to be there at every moment, analyzing every piece of data, going through everything to make sure that it is the right person, and we hold them accountable.
So that's all you can ask for, right? That's the best you can ask for. You have the victim's father saying, I want them to prove to me that this is the person, and then I want him punished, right? But that prove to him thing comes in strong. Something else that comes in strong, though, the Dateline NBC documentary that came out had something from Bryan Kohbergers' sister. That was that she suspected her brother of this crime before the police ever came knocking on the door. That's a little wild to me. The fact that his own sister would say that before he was accused of this crime, she had suspected that he might have something to do with it. That's probably the strongest character witness of Bryan Kohbergers that we could get, right? Think about it. Your brother moves off to this other college, and he's going to college on the other side of the country. And then this big crime happens that everybody's talking about, and it's 10 miles away from where your brother lives. Then you find out that the suspect somewhat matches the description. Your brother could fit that profile. Then you find out that the vehicle that they're looking for is the same type of vehicle, pretty much, white Hyundai Elantra. Of course, that's going to ring some alarm bells, right? Especially if you know that your brother's already struggled with mental health issues in the past, has trouble with girls, has trouble with confidence, might be a stalker, whatever, right? So, of course, you're already going to be like, oh, wow. But would you go out and say, hey, it might be my brother? Not really. So it takes a little bit more for you to say that. But when your brother comes home for Christmas and he's wearing rubber gloves everywhere he goes and acting odd, behaving oddly, of course that's going to trigger you to think that much more. When you have the sister saying that she suspects her own brother of doing it, and then he's arrested for the crime, and she's publicly saying that, that's about as strong as a character witness as you're going to get. And the way I see it, I already felt like there's a pretty good chance that Bryan Kohberger is guilty of this crime. And hearing that his sister has said that, if that is true, it just makes me that much more sure of my opinion that he's most likely guilty. Now, before everybody gets mad at me, I'm not the news. I'm just a guy. And I have an opinion. And my opinion, based off of everything that I've seen from this case, is that unless Bryan Kohberger is being framed, unless somebody is setting him up within the government, within the police department, then he's most likely guilty. I do think that there's a pretty reasonable chance that he could have had some kind of assistance or somebody else could have been involved somehow, but I don't know who that would be. That could be roommates. That could be Brent Kopaka. That could be somebody that we've never heard of before, or it could be no one at all and Bryan Kohberger did all this by himself. There's so many little issues that make it seem hard to believe that one person could pull this off all by themselves, but it seems like the investigation is going that way. I've also heard lately that they have receipts from where he ordered the murder weapon on Amazon. I've also heard about some female colleague of Bryan Kohberger's that had her apartment broken into, and instead of calling police, she called Bryan Kohberger. And then her and Bryan Kohberger decided that they should put up security cameras in her house. And then somehow, after this, Bryan Kohberger used those security cameras to spy on her. And the rumor is that he is the one that broke into her house and moved things around in the first place so that she would call him to get him to come install security cameras. What doesn't make sense about that to me, though, is why did he break into her house in the first place? Was it just to move something around, or was he intending to go in and harm her and she wasn't there? So then he moved things around so that he could get cameras put inside her house. But if that's the case, how did he know that she wasn't going to call the cops and instead was going to call him and he was going to get to install those cameras? You would think that a rumor like that, that's a pretty strong rumor. That's a pretty specific thing. And they have all his data. They have all his devices, his computers, the towers, and all that. So if he was accessing those security cameras when he's not supposed to be accessing those security cameras, they probably got him dead to rights there. As far as he broke into her house to begin with, I have no idea how they could prove that. Maybe they have something that tells them that. Maybe they have his locations from his phones or something at the time that the break-in happened. Who knows? Who knows where all this is coming from? But this is just what's being reported. And to me, all of this makes him sound that much more guilty. So like I said, he's most likely guilty. And if not, then he's being framed. Because coincidences do not stack this high. You can't explain every little thing away that comes out. If you dumped it all at one time, it's absolutely impossible to, oh yeah, well, let me explain this little bit and this little bit and this little bit and this little bit. The reason that this keeps happening is because things are trickling out so slow that by the time something comes out, before anything else comes out, people have already excused that away and feel like they're starting on a fresh slate. But you're not starting on a fresh slate. Because just like it might be unverified information being reported to you, there's no way you can verify the idea of, well, we washed this away and this isn't happening. And when you have, he fits the description, he drives the same car, he had a fascination with one of the girls, that he has a history stalking and spying on another woman, that he's broken into a home before, that his own sister believes he might have done it, that he's wearing rubber gloves everywhere, that he's putting his trash in his neighbor's cans to keep from anybody finding it in his own cans. Also reported that police that were surveilling him almost hit him at 4 o'clock in the morning one night while he was walking to put his trash in the neighbor's can. So, I mean, there's so much like that now that has pretty much convinced me that he's probably guilty. I still say he deserves his day in court. I still say that the prosecutor must prove it beyond a reasonable doubt that he's guilty. But my opinion is my opinion. And I'm not news, so I don't have to remain unbiased. Let me know what you think about it down in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel to see more, hit that notification bell so you get notified anytime I post. Have a great day, and we'll see you later.